Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my channel, Hairliciously. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to stay updated on hair loss and hair transplant topics. I also started doing a lot more of these celebrity hair loss analysis videos, so make sure to stick around and check those out. Visit my website at hairliciously.com to purchase your microneedling devices, which are scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth. My low-level lace therapy cap, hair growth vitamins, DHT debulking shampoo and serum, and a few other products for those who are suffering from hair loss. So in today's video topic, I wanted to do another celebrity analysis type of video. In this case, it's going to be Nicolas Cage, and give you guys my analysis on what I think that he has actually done to his hair. Some of my younger viewers may or may not know him, but he is an American actor and filmmaker. He's probably best known for his roles in the movies Gone in 60 Seconds, there's Con Air, National Treasure, Vampire's Kiss, Raising Arizona, and there's a few other notable movies. Anyway, over the years, going over to the early 1990s and even to this day, his thinning hair and changing hairline has been attracting a lot of people, as well as the media in recent years, to the point where many have been gossiping and suspecting that he's either had a hair transplant or is wearing a toupee. So let's take a look at his early years and look at some of his hair transformations, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what I think Nicolas Cage has actually done to his hair. I do have to say that he's had one of the weirdest hair loss journeys that I've seen. I also have to disclose the fact that I don't have any direct knowledge of Nicolas Cage's hair. What I'm about to share with you guys is simply my opinion, so please take that with a grain of salt. In 1983, when Nicolas Cage was 20 years of age, you can see a full head of hair, pretty straight hairline with good density, and most people will look at this photo and say that he's not balding, but I would kind of have to disagree to some extent, because one of the telltale signs would be the weak temporal points located over here. And you can see that he doesn't really have the strongest temporal points, but nevertheless, his hair looks pretty good. And in a little bit, I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to receding temporal points. In 1986, at 23 years of age, we kind of started to see the initial progression of androgenetic alopecia. His temples have receded as well as the temporal points, and in this side photo here, you can see how weak the temporal points have really become. In 1989, at age 26, we can get a better visualization of the extent of his hair loss. His hairline has receded quite a bit, possibly a Nord 4. And then in 1993, at the age of 30, we can see the severity of his hair loss. His hairline is almost non-existent. There's further temporal recession, and he honestly just looks straight up bald. At this rate, he is likely to continue to recede and even reach to a Nord 6 or Nord 7 in a matter of a few years, given the fact that he started receding rapidly at such a young age. And men that, who tend to suffer from hair loss at an early age usually have a more aggressive form of hair loss, and this definitely was the case for Nicolas. You also have to realize that in 1993, there really weren't any medications like finasteride to treat the root cause of genetic hair loss. 5% Minoxidil was just launched in the market in 1993, so Nicolas probably wasn't able to be on any type of hair loss medications that we have available currently, at least not long term. And even if he were using Minoxidil, it would only serve as a growth agonist, and it's not going to do anything about the root cause of genetic hair loss. Had finasteride been available, he would have most likely been able to possibly retain a good chunk of his hair, since about 85% of users respond pretty favorably. But this was also not the case, and unfortunately, he just continued to lose more and more hair over the years. Now, something magical did happen between 1993 and 1996, where Nicolas appears to have regrown a good amount of hair right in the center of his hairline, commonly known as the island. The hairs there has drastically improved in density, and it also looks pretty thick, to be honest. He most likely wasn't taking finasteride, like I said, because it wasn't approved until 1998. So the only options he would have would be either he'd be a hyper responder to Minoxidil, or he's likely had a hair transplant or is wearing a hairpiece. I doubt that the growth from Minoxidil, just because it's hard to believe that, the center of the island area only grew hair. Secondly, the hairline doesn't even look like it's in the correct position and doesn't have a good transition zone. Hair that is in the high position should be of a finer and thinner quality of hair, reflecting the thinning process that accompanies genetic hair loss as the hairline recedes. But that doesn't happen here, so it kind of leads me to believe that he's had a hair transplant in the middle portion of the island zone. FET or the strip procedure were pretty common during this time, as they were actually introduced in the mid-1990s, and they greatly improved in terms of natural appearance as they kind of sheared away from the unnatural, pluggy, dull type of hairlines. And given that he also was wearing his hair always longer in the back, it kind of makes me wonder if he was actually trying to disguise the infamous strip scar in the back of his scalp. Now in 2000, at age 37, we can see a closer view of his hairline. And when I honestly look at this guy's hairline, it kind of reminds me of a hair transplant. You can see what appears to be all these single grafts that were placed into the mid portion of his hairline. It doesn't look like he touched any of the temporal points because they still look pretty receded. And honestly, I think that at this point, reconstructing the temporal points, especially during the early 2000s, was not really done just because it was really difficult to replicate a natural looking hairline. So most of the work was usually done on the hairline and on the vertex, not on the temporal points. In 2003, we can still see that island on his hairline, but it does look thinner compared to before, which also makes me wonder if he's been applying some type of hair loss concealer to bulk up the illusion of a more dense hairline. In 2006, there's not much change as far as the hairline design. Hairline up front, once again, looks a lot more darker and dense. And then in 2010, Nicholas is 46 and his hair is in pretty bad shape. The temporal points, hairline appears to have thinned even more. And it doesn't really help that he has dyed his hair blonde for some reason. In 2013, same typical hairline with not much change is going on. I do, however, think that he does look better with darker hair. Moving over to early mid 2020, same hairline design. He once again dyed his hair black, but this photo here shows some funky hairline in the island portion of his hairline. It looks a bit too kinky and just abnormally strange. And finally, late 2020 to just a few days ago, we can see a photo of Nicholas with a complete hair loss reversal. His hairline is definitely lower. Temples have filled in on both sides. He almost looks like a Nord too. His hairline is a bit too straight to my taste, which may be indicative of a wig or a hair transplant. It's difficult to see exactly what's been going on because the photos aren't really clear, and we definitely need some close-up shots to see exactly what is happening to his hair as far as 2020. Nicolas Cage is definitely somebody who is conscious about his hair, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's currently on finasteride or even dutasteride, given his extent of hair loss. His father is also nearly bald, as you guys can see in this photo here. So being on medication would probably be the best thing for Nicholas. I have to admit that he does look pretty good in that last photo of him that I shared with him with a full head of hair. I wouldn't rule out the fact that he's had multiple hair transplants, with a more recent one being FUE. And it's not like he has, in my opinion, a horrible donor zone. I do, however, think that he tried to be a little bit more subtle with what I would call a conservative hair transplant, since his hair loss was already gaining the attention of so many people. And he did state in an interview several years ago that he doesn't wear wigs, and I'm not 100% sure how much truth there is to that, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt and give you guys my 2 cents that I believe that Nicolas Cage has had at least one hair transplant followed by hair concealers to thicken up the density. He's had fluctuating densities to his hairline over the past few decades, as we've seen in these photos, but the hairline itself hasn't really changed shape at all. So it's likely, in my personal opinion, that he's had a hair transplant and potentially been using hair concealers and a combination of darker hair coloring to make the hairline and the overall hair look thicker. So let me know what you guys think about Nicolas Cage's hair. Do you guys think that he's had a hair transplant? Do you guys think he's wearing a wig? Please do share in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have any other celebrities that you guys want me to analyze, and I'll do my best to do as many as I can. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Take care.